The United States just sued Apple for monopoly in smartphones. This is quite strange, but totally true. The US Department of Justice has lifted this lawsuit, and it is being backed by many states in this country. In the lawsuit, there are 5 main points that Apple is being sued or charged with. The first of these points out that Apple has prevented super apps that encompass services of many types, and that could prevent users from continuing to prefer Apple's services. Super apps started as a trend in China with the goal of not needing so many apps but simply installing one and having in that app many more services. Although I understand that super apps are not banned in the App Store, but probably due to the commissions that Apple requires for payments made within various applications, these super apps have not had the opportunity to develop 100%. The second point that Apple is complained about is that it does not allow apps that have video game streaming. Applications such as Xbox Game Pass cannot be run on the iPhone. Unlike Android, where you can run these games in the cloud and do not require a very advanced hardware, but simply a good internet connection and obviously a good modem on the chip to have 100% console experience directly on your cell phone. It is said that Apple does not want this because it evidently wants its iPhone games to continue to be developed and not simply go for video games in the cloud. The third point is an indictment because it has degraded the messaging experience between an iPhone and an Android. The previous 2 points I can understand, but this third point honestly seems to me a bit of overkill, as it is intended to force Apple to be more compatible the interaction between iMessage and Android messaging apps that use the RCS protocol. But this point seems a bit odd to me because it's not like Apple is preventing users from installing WhatsApp or some other app with which they could have easy interaction with Android devices. However, in the US, iMessage is an app that has too much popularity, and somehow they want to force iMessage to be able to better interact with other Android devices. The fourth point points out that deliberately Apple has prevented other smartwatches from having better performance with the iPhone if it is not an Apple Watch. In this sense, I think they could be right, and it would be good that Apple offers developers the necessary APIs so that watches from other brands can have a much more advanced interaction, because currently if you have an iPhone and want a smartwatch with a good experience, the only option you have is the Apple Watch. Because as much as there are very advanced and very smart watches in other brands, the interaction with the iPhone is always very limited due to all the restrictions that the operating system has. And the last point they complain to Apple is that they have eliminated the possibility for developers to create digital wallets to take advantage of the functionality called Tap to Pay. That is, in short, that only Apple Pay works on the iPhone to make mobile payments, and that they have not allowed other companies to take advantage of NFC technology. As you realize, this lawsuit has some things that have been influenced by the European Union probably, although they have not fully joined in, also trying to force Apple to allow installation from external sources and other things. But it seems like Apple lately is suffering a lot from these kinds of claims and lawsuits. And let's see if the United States also starts to implement some changes that will force Apple to open up its ecosystem a little bit more. And that is the main point with which Apple intends to defend itself, that its business model is based on an ecosystem where hardware, software and services coexist perfectly well. This lawsuit is just beginning, so let's wait. Any news regarding this process, I will be telling you about it.